All right, that's better without muting myself. Hello, folks. Hope you're doing well. Can you hear me well? Is it good for you? Tell me if you can hear me properly. Perfect. There should be a very low latency between what I say and what you hear in the stream today, folks. That's because I want to keep it a bit interactive, let's say. Let's get started. It's been a while. So very quickly, so you know why there has not been that many streams recently. I'm currently moving abroad in another country. I have a lot of paperwork to do. I have a lot of things to deal with. I don't have that much time for the streams at the moment, but it's coming back very soon at regular pace. So thanks for your patience. I hope, by the way, that you are enjoying the little clips from the mentorship and the little interviews and podcasts we got. There is one that has been released a few hours ago with Marnix Records, senior hard surface designer working on Stellaris. Fantastic live stream. So feel free to have a look eventually after that stream. Okay. As always, for anyone that is new, feel free to keep the questions for the end of the presentation. I'm going to not look that much at the chat while I'm presenting stuff. I want to deal mainly about storytelling today. It's going to be a very improvised stream today. I don't have notes. I don't have anything. But storytelling is so freaking important. If you have not watched the video from Fengzhu 110 about why AI can and cannot do. Storytelling is the best way you can protect yourself against AI. That's what I've been discussing also in one of the clips from the mentorship released earlier this week. Storytelling is super important. Storytelling is what brings value to your work. It's what makes a work that is a bit soulless and not interesting go from meh to extremely good if you know how to implement that very well. But by storytelling, by the way, I do not mean just telling a story. It can be broader than that. It's anything related to feelings and sensation and getting the viewer to feel something overall. So it can be emotional impact. It can be engaging the senses. It can be empathy. It can be extra bits of information. It can also be having the gameplay, especially for games, having the gameplay of something, a boss, a creature, an environment, an enemy, to be very obvious when they see a character, an object, or environment, or whatever. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to do a lot of case studies, and hopefully it's going to start making sense. I'm probably going to do another one related to storytelling, but more for videos. It's going to be a bit out of subject with concept art, but I would love also to study ads, short movies, different kind of clips, and see how they can tell story through videos, which is a medium which has temporality. It's a bit interesting. So if you are potentially interested in doing a stream next week regarding how they are using storytelling outside of concept art to better manipulate the public, whether it's in a movie, whether it's in an ad, advertising, whether it's with music clips to get you to feel something, feel free to let me know and we will do that. But I think it's very interesting and it's how you're going to learn storytelling. So let's get started. How to learn storytelling. Long story short, it's not that you can't, it's just that the way I see storytelling is that it's a culture that you grow and that you educate yourself about by analyzing as many stuff. And when you feel something, you ask yourself why you feel this way, you try to understand why. And if you do it properly, it gives you one extra ingredient that you can then use later to convey that thing. And the more you do it, the more you're going to grow some kind of a repertoire of different ways you can tell a different story or pluck a different emotional string and get results in your artwork and embed it. We're going to see a bit of everything. We're going to see props. We're going to see characters. We're going to see environment. We're going to see a lot of stuff. Let me show you. Let me remove my face because nobody cares about my face. And let's get started. I grabbed all those artworks. There's a bit of everything. There is some stuff by One Pixel Brush. I know I've been memeing about wannabe One Pixel Brush artist a lot. So let's explain why One Pixel Brush is so fucking good and why people imitating them are not as good as they think. And not understanding the substance behind One Pixel Brush. We have some work from the mentees, of course, because storytelling is one of the main mantras we have. And this is what sets the student apart and gets them results. So we're going to analyze some stuff. Character, creature, some random artworks that I find great, and I'm going to explain why. It could be also a further session we do with just me gushing over that ArtStation collection that I made that is really centered around storytelling. Again, if you are interested in doing a session where you just see me drooling over those artwork and explaining why they are so good, we can definitely do that. And I think despite me looking ridiculous, it's going to be interesting for you. So yeah, those ones. We're going to start with that one because I think that's the best introduction to the subject. And then, of course, some work from Destiny to be a bit more gameplay focused. With that being said, let's start with our amazing work from Gael. There we go. I just want to explain a bit why that picture is so good. There's been a tremendous amount of work, and I want to explain a bit more what is happening in that picture that makes it so interesting. So for anything regarding storytelling, context is key. Either you don't have the context first, and you will discover it as you are exploring the place, or else you have additional pieces that are going to bring extra information. In the case of Gael, we're going to do both, actually. Let's start with environment design, okay? You start with environment design, and you need always to have empathy. When you want to tell a story, when you want to be a great designer, you need a bit of empathy. It's just to put yourself in the shoes of the player, the viewer, the spectator, whoever is going to experience the final product, and try to understand what they are going to see, what they are going to feel, and in which order. So this is an environment design. We need to enter from an environment design. We're going to enter here. Again, we don't have any context, okay? Zero context at all. Let me have a clear brush. There we go. We enter from here. This is a house. We're going to discover an interior. Let's put an abstraction of that. Draconic Blacksmith, Servant of Dracula. This is the project of Gael. This is a blacksmith that is, you're going to see. So we arrive in that house. What is the first thing we see from here? First thing we see is this kind of holy water pool right there. It's weird at the entrance of a house that you are going to have some holy water. Yes, the stream is going to be recorded. So you have that pool of holy water. Why? We don't really know yet, but definitely it's not an ordinary house to have something like this. It has something sacred in it. We're going to move there. In front of you, you have that torch and you have that lantern. So first of all, you're going to see right here. It's old, it's some old storage, whatever, it's not very contrasted. You are attracted towards contrast, you're attracted towards that torch and towards that lantern. So immediately the first real thing you're going to discover is that area. What do you see in it? You see a bedroll that is improvised. So it's weird. It's a beautiful house and someone is sleeping on a bedroll. Something might justify that. Something might have happened in the bedroom that justifies sleeping there. What else do we see? We see an axe hidden just nearby the bed. So the person is probably expecting some kind of unwanted visitors. You have some bottles. So this guy is definitely drinking alcohol, maybe being an alcoholic. That's kind of weird. But immediately you notice, you're going to understand between this, the mess that is everywhere, that this person is probably very unstable mentally. Then you see tons of garlic cloves right there. Again, that's where you're like, why would you need to suspend that many garlics and have weapons? Wait, garlics, weapons, holy water? We are probably dealing with some kind of vampires right there. That's already how you introduce the vampire thing without any context by just giving clues. Then you have a teddy bear right there. And you're like, why would there be a teddy bear nearby some bottles and things like that? I invite you to remember about that teddy bear, okay? We're going to quickly glance at that kitchen and it's a total mess. You have rats, you have garlic cloves, you have a window that is broken. It's definitely abandoned. So again, it tends to confirm that the person is not that stable mentally. Okay? We're going to quickly glance at that because we have a flickering fire that is going to attract our attention. Imagine light being cast there. You're going to have the flickering fire. You're going to hear the roar of that gigantic metal crucible. So naturally, and because that color is very red and unnatural, see the call out right there. This is very natural. This is not ordinary forge. You're going to be attracted towards it very fast. So as soon as you see that, immediately you're going to go there. What do you see? You see that incredible forge. This is no ordinary forge. This is a draconic forge. You have some weird magic fire right there. Infused metal lace in the shadows. It reveals the rampage power, whatever that means. This is no ordinary forge. This is the main point of interest. You have so many crests and heraldries and ornaments everywhere about dragons. This is a place dedicated to dragon. You had a dragon right here. Also regarding the holy water, you have it on ornaments, you have it on the crest, you have it even on the props, right there, right there. Everything looks draconic. This is a place that is probably having a dragon as a guardian or worshipping a dragon or something like that. Everything revolves around the draconic aspect. So this is not an ordinary forge. It is definitely mass producing weapons right there. And those weapons are freaking fantastic. Have a look right there. They are super intricate right there. So this is not your average vanilla type of blacksmith. This is a special blacksmith. Why would such a talented blacksmith with such an incredible forge be in such a state? An alcoholic, sleeping on a bedroll, not even in a room, barely eating, living in a total mess. What is going on? And then you're going to notice this, that chain right here. You have a chain, you're going to follow it, and you see you follow the chain. You're going to first see all the blacksmith roof, and then you're going to turn there. Maybe at the same time, you're going to hear the hiss of a cat or some leathery flapping sound of wings, and you're going to be attracted. You're going to turn towards the left. You're going to see that room and see or hear those things. It's going to attract your attention in game. You can imagine the sound. You can imagine the cat jumping and getting maybe that box to fall or something like that, or screeching. Right there, it's in pitch black darkness, except that lantern. Naturally, it's going to attract you there. First of all, you follow the chain. You're going to notice that it's attached to that pillar and that poor blacksmith is literally chained to that thing. So he's a prisoner. No wonder he's getting bad, especially if you have to deal with those bats. And when you look at those bats, right there, let me grab that picture right there. What do you see? First of all, you see the wonderful weapons that he's crafting. You see again the draconic heraldry. You see that those little bat dragon type of things are treated like vermins. They are parasite. This one got smashed recently. So you see what happened before. You also see that one got killed by the axe freshly. The table got chopped. But right there, you have been attracted by the lantern again. You see, that lantern is the only source of light. It's going to attract you. What do you see? What you see is that there is a letter with a wax seal and a dagger right there. Everyone knows that when you see a letter that is stuck by that thing, it's definitely a bad sign. It's definitely a threatening letter. You see a little doll right there. Threatening letter, doll being chained. Right there you see a family portrait. There was a teddy bear before. Right there. There was definitely a kid there. The guy is drinking. There's a threatening letter with a doll. It's safe to assume that the kid of that blacksmith got kidnapped. That might be justifying why the blacksmith is feeling so bad. He's now having an axe. He's probably got kidnapped by a vampire because of that. And he's probably a slave of that vampire and he's having to craft weapons for that vampire. Now the story starts to unfold. Make sense? Let's try to explore even more. Now we go up the stairs. What do we see? We see a completely corrupted bedroom. No wonder you cannot sleep there anymore. More interestingly, you see those doors. Someone definitely broke into that place. There has been a fight right there. There's been a fight. Someone was searching for something. See right there? And right there, what do we have? Paintings, dolls, toys, things of kids. So now, I guess it starts to make sense. Someone broke into that house, kidnapped the kid of the blacksmith, left a threatening letter, and enslaved that poor blacksmith, who is incredibly talented and is now mass producing the weapons and the armors for the vampire lord nearby. And that's how you can tell the whole story, just like Sherlock Holmes, by just looking at that environment. I hope it makes sense. Makes sense in the chat? Sounds good. I'm not inventing any crazy stuff right now. And that's why context is important, because all those props, they answer each other. Sounds good? It's important to have those props answering each other. I was showing, I think, the works from Alex. I've been showing it a lot in the previous stream, so I'm not going to ramble that much. But remember that cat bench right there, you have to grab a fish to lure that kitty. So the MoMA freaks out and you can snatch the scroll. Right there nearby, there's a fisherman hut with cats. You enter, there's only one fish available, and that little cat is about to go through the window, steal the cat. You're going to chase it through the roofs, just like in Assassin's Creed. That's how your pieces of portfolio can answer each other and create a full package right there. Good for you? So this was for environment, okay? Let me grab, for example, something else. Let's keep it with environment. Let's do a lot of environment. We'll do character and props after, okay? Let me pick The Last of Us. I love that picture from The Last of Us. I think it's one of the best, done by the mighty Florent Lebrun, if I'm not mistaken. That picture is amazing. I would like to talk about the big, medium, small at the same time. You know, everyone talks about big, medium, small. Everyone is having a different definition about that. I will give you mine, and I will prove you that you can summarize every picture by the big, medium, small this way. My definition of the big, medium, small is that big, answer the what and where. What is it about? Where are we? Medium is about the function. Sorry, I'm writing with the mouse. How does it work? And the small, it's about the story. Okay? Keep that in mind. Big. Let's do it. Let's have the big in red, the medium in blue, and the small in green, okay? Big, where are we? So those are those big buildings right here. Definitely this kind of Western movie type of buildings right there. It's okay. We are in this kind of Western type of city, very traditional. We even have horses and all of that, so it tends to confirm that Western vibe. When are we? Definitely during the winter, because we see gigantic patches of snow, etc. Okay. Medium, how does it work? I want to know how does that city function? What is it? What are the special features? First of all, we see that some buildings have been built. We have some cars, so we are not in the Western world. We still have some horses, by the way. We have a church right there. We have tons of people. It's a very active city. We have cars, so we are in modern days, but we still have a traditional look. Okay, that's kind of weird to have that Western city that is modern but ancient at the same time. Okay, now I want to dive about the small. What is it specific about that place? Okay, let's put it in blue. And now be ready to have your mind blown. First of all, you have tons of people right there. You have a watchtower right here. They have weapons. I think they have weapons, if I recall correctly. Yeah, this guy is having a gun right there. This guy is probably having one probably there or something like that. But this guy is definitely having a gun right there. So you have guards. So there is danger around. Something else that I really noticed immediately is that there's barely any electricity. There's electricity only right there. The rest, fire. Probably a bit of electricity right there. It's weird because they have cars, but at the same time, everyone is riding a horse. So already you start to notice that, yeah, gas is probably very rare. There's probably a shortage of electricity too. They have a gigantic pile of wood right there. Starting to be weird. See, they are starting to stockpile wood. They don't have electricity, so it starts to introduce this kind of post-apocalyptic atmosphere. Now, what is it about the people? You have tons of kids waiting for the school right there. You have some people like sheriffs, again, with a weapon right there. So Seems to be a set of survivors. They are wearing very heterogeneous type of clothing. Everyone is riding a horse. So again, it tends to confirm that we are lacking gas. And you see tons of shovels everywhere. People shoveling and shovels available left in the public. So it seems to be a very tied together community. We don't have electricity right there, for example, on that thing. We barely see smoke from the chimney from any other houses. So there's not that much wood too. So it tends to start to confirm this kind of post-apocalyptic vibe. So all the houses are available in public. You have shovels in public. Everyone seems to look like they are contributing to the life there. So definitely, it tells you the story of that community that is probably with very limited amount of resources, electricity and gas, trying to live together, and everyone has to contribute to society. That's how you tell a story. It's not just about a random guy with a scene from the back walking towards a post-apocalyptic piece of shit. It's about giving all the clues to the public so they understand everything that is happening there at first glance. Make sense? And that one, it's a bit more cinematic, don't get me wrong. You see? It's really, again, about, okay, big, where do we are? We are in nature. Okay. Medium, how does it work? What is happening? First of all, there is a giant ass volcano right there. And you have tons of people living. This seems to be a mass exodus already. Small, what is it specific about the place? This is why it's going to be interesting. Seems that they left with a bit of carriage. Not that many. They managed to have a bit of time to escape. That road is kind of weird, to be deprived of plants. That volcano is gigantic. You know, this kind of weird, it looks like birds. I don't know if it's bird or if it's embers and ashes. But in any case, it looks very ominous. So, you know definitely that those guys, they are dealing with like a gigantic cataclysmic level of eruption. The pitch of that story is that the devil awakened and erupted a volcano to punish the humans. There's a bit of motion, but there probably a bit too much motion blur for my own taste, but it's just purely personal. You see that a lot of the nature is destroyed right now. So something bad is happening to nature right there. All the trees, look at how gray they are right now. They're not green and lush like that. It seems that nature is dying around. So we are not dealing with a natural cataclysm. We are dealing with something more than that. Make sense? In every picture, again, another example that I really like with Diaboli is that it's engaging the senses. That's what I really like. Sometimes you do not have to tell a complex story. That God wave is incredible. You see, you can hear the picture. You can sense the strength of that wave right there. It's really about sparking an impression. It's big, it's gigantic. It's not just a giant wave. It's a God wave. It's facing God's wrath. You know, it's the God wave. Look at the size of that boat. Look at the size of the wave. It's 50-ish meter tall. It's apocalyptic level right now. I like that one a lot. Because again, the story is simple. It's people helping each other move through the lava and all of that. You have that woman with the baby. What I really like in those pictures, first of all, that motion blur I think is very well sensed. You have that sense of chaos everywhere. What I really like with that picture is that you can smell it. You can feel how hot and unbearable it is. You can sense the sulfuric smells of the lava. You can feel the heat. You can feel the fire. You can hear the apocalyptic atmosphere, the house burning. You can hear the toxic air that is going to attack your lungs and make your eyes cry. That's how you engage the sense. You do not, if you want to make something cinematic for all the one pixel brush wannabe that might be watching that video, it's not just about fancy pictures, it's just about 3D, it's about engaging the senses and getting you to feel something. Okay? It's not about making something flashy. This could have been made way better. This is a picture that has been made fast. It's about telling an efficient story. You understand people are helping each other, passing on goods, risking their lives to save a few goods. They're going to have to save that woman. They're probably going to have to pass the baby onto each other. It's like, hey, come here, ma'am. Give me your hand. You can hear the picture. You can hear the baby screaming. You can hear the woman crying. She's desperate. There's probably people getting burned there. It's horrible. You sense the chaos and the agitation of those soldiers trying to improvise as fast as they can. The picture works very well because of that. The main word is chaos, dramatic, danger, fire, urgency. How do you transpose those terms visually? Okay, fire, lava, toxic smoke, people crying, people helping each other, some soldiers and citizens teaming up. Tons of smoke. Right there, you have that giant wave of lava that is coming that is going to destroy everything. So time is running out. They have to hurry up. Sounds good? Let's pick those ones. Blue clan. Again, as an environment designer, your goal is to tell a story through the props. Have a look, for example, at Fallout 4 title. At the title screen from Fallout. Look at the video, look at all the props there. It's really telling the story of who lives there. I really like that picture. You don't see the character, but you know everything about them. Sleeping there. Collecting old magazines and posters. Listening to the radio. Definitely tinkering parts to repair that big power armor. Collecting bottles and whatever they can find. Having a little bobblehead, being a bit silly with all those toys. Collecting weapons right there. You have an extinctor right there in case something burns. You have a workbench there and a welding station. Seems to be repairing a minigun right there with tons of ammos. There's a wrench right there. I was probably trying to piece out that thing apart and to also dismantle that Mr. Handy type of thing. You just see that you really feel the personality of who lives there. There's the dog. If you expand the picture, you have a little dog house. The dog is probably waiting for the person to come back. Fallout 4 is amazing at telling story through props. That's really the goal. But yeah, this is about a vampire. It's funny to see mirrors for a vampire because technically you do not see the reflection. But actually, it's not showing the vampire, it's showing the environment outside. It's acting like almost some kind of surveillance camera. You have tons of books, tons of toxic plants. You have that little crop. This is an Easter egg right here, don't get me wrong. You have glasses of wine to probably look at the monitors like an evil character. Probably those things can be activated. You can send letters, he's writing rituals. You have divination with bones. You have the costume of the vampire right there. You have tons of seashells everywhere, so you know that vampire is themed around the water. Right there, this is a torture chamber. You see people right here. You have a bit of blood. You represent how the vampire look without really showing them thanks to those statues. You know it's this kind of sacrificial altar right there. the blood right there. So enough, you have all those plants that are aiming in the direction of the victims. Probably to gather a bit of blood, you see. They're probably attracted to blood, and actually when you look at the rest of the project of the clan, let me close those. When you look at the other project, those things, they are definitely attracted to blood. You have a bit of gear for the vampire. The vampire looks like that, and we already saw it. You know pretty much everything right there. It looks like a sacrificial thing with all those candles. That's how you tell a little story. I'm going fast right there because I think you start to get it regarding environment. And even call-out sheets like that. You open it up. You're going to notice, okay, there's a treasure right there. You have all those algae everywhere, describing this kind of path everywhere. And you know that room can be flooded, justifying the algae probably. This is a underwater type of vampire right there. You have that big machine that is in the shape of a sarcophagus. So we know it's a coffin for a vampire, but looking like a different thing, like a tank for the vampire right there. Feeding with blood. You have tons of callouts to explain how it works. You can feed blood in the thing. So you tell the story. You're going to show them. Right there you see it's underwater. Right there it's above the water because of that glass. So yeah, pretty much it. All those corals, it's telling you that it's very old. You have nature taking over it. This part is definitely not flooded. You see, it's flooded wherever you have those corals. And as soon as it's not flooded anymore, you don't have any corals anymore. It's also telling you that function. So even when you, let's say you are in the game, you're fighting there, you know immediately that if you flood the thing, if you are here, you're going to be safe. If you are there, you're going to be flooded. That sacrificial chamber is just nearby this kind of tank where you're going to feed the vampire. So you have the killed victim. You drag them down. You throw them here. They're going to be eaten by those plants, and then the blood directly in the water is going to feed the vampire, as explained in the call-out sheets. Where are those? Right here, you see. That's how you tell everything you have to tell. And that keyframe is just putting everything in place and putting it together. That would be it. I talked about that cigarette box a lot already, I think. The fact that it's not an ordinary cigarette box, you know it's quite old, you know it has been beaten up and used heavily. So for props, I like having these kind of things being a bit damaged. It tends to be helpful. Feels lived in, exactly. I think for environment, we're good, right? So it's good. I think we're good. Let's talk about characters, if you don't mind. Again, I've been gushing over that piece done by Michael. Michael, if you see that video or if you're watching right now, I really, really, really want you to participate in the application contest we are going to do that month. But hey, this is what I want to see for a character design. You see that character, you know everything that is about them. Again, big. What is it about that character? It's a big, bulky man. It's a captain. That's pretty much it. Medium, how does it work? What is the functionality? You have the attachment of everything right here. You have those big mechanical parts. He's a hunting weapon, etc. He's having a peg leg right there. He's having all stuff. Small, what is it specific about him? He's getting consumed by this kind of parasitic seashells right there. It's from Moby Dick. So it's a good way to represent the captain being devoured and consumed by his own obsession for chasing the whale, to the point that he's getting consumed by the sea, quite literally. His life is all about trophies and hunting. He's turning his body into the ultimate hunting weapon. It's all about hunting and hunting and hunting. And you know, this guy, based off that face, is not talkative at all except to give order. It's probably going to be the guy that answers in a graph or with just one or two words, but can yell at you very strong when he's chasing the whale or doing serious business. He has been wearing the same stuff for decades, given how used it is, how rusty it is. It's been patchworked and repaired, etc. You can imagine how he walks like a big tank. You can feel the sound and the oily feeling and the metallic clinging sound everywhere there. It really makes sense. Yeah, sorry, there is my kitty that is singing. Hello. Here we go. How are you doing, buddy? Yeah. So, yeah, that's how you do it. It's really with those little details. And again, it's really about going from the source material. Okay, Moby Dick, what is it about? It's the story of a captain that is getting consumed and is going to die on the sea because of that obsession of chasing the white whale. How do you represent that? You have the white clothing that is getting them to echo the white whale. You have the fact that he's turning his body into the ultimate hunting weapon and revolving only about that. Again, telling the story of his obsession. He's literally getting consumed. So it's, in terms of symbolic, it's very strong. He's already dead. He's already dying in some way. He doesn't care about his physical appearance. He's gruff. He's getting old and beaten up. And he's just a shell of who he was, especially when you compare to who he was before. Howie, I'm going to answer your question a bit later if you don't mind. I prefer to keep it straight to the point. Keep your question for, let's say, in 30 minutes, an hour. I will answer that happily, and I will happily answer your question regarding that more in depth without interrupting the thing. So yeah, hope it makes sense. And you have all the formal distinction, the fact that he was a captain. We need to flip that, by the way. But that's it. It's how you tell the story of a guy. Next. The crewmates. What I really like with those is the fact that you can almost hear them speak and interact with each other. This guy, you know, is never going to speak. This guy is probably the torsionary, sadistic guy. This guy is really, hey, I have some drugs. Do you want some? No, that's fine. You could remove those little bubbles and you will still understand who they are. And that's what you need to do when you are designing characters. You need to sell the personality and the gameplay immediately. Avoid designing in T-pose. Something I've been showing a lot already. I like those sketches from Robin Hood because they are sketches, but you see them, you immediately understand who Robin Hood is about. That's exactly what you need to do. Gesture, getting them to interact with something, and never be like, okay, little Billy, pose in front of the camera, do something. No, interacting with something or someone. Okay? The character looks like they are posing in front of the camera. It's going to look fake. This one, very good. Again, big, what do we see? It's an orc in heavy armor. Okay. Medium, how does it work? Oh, the armor is beaten up. You have the chainmail, you have the different layers, you have the plate armor, you have the straps, you have the chainmail, you have the gambeson. You have extra layers upon layer upon layer, you have a cloak. It's functional. Basically, that armor works. Small, what is it specific about that character? Scars. She looks old with those gray hair. She has been fighting like crazy even recently. She has been fighting for so long that the weapon is starting to be chipped It's your typical Elden Ring character, and it will not be your random orc. It will be like an orc general. It will be like a named NPC. She's probably very smart for having survived that long. She doesn't look like your stupid generic orc overall. She's been fighting. She's having a crest right here and right there. She's fighting for someone, for a faction, for a country, something like this. You have tons of micro expressions right there. It's hard to explain micro expression, but I think everyone gets it. Even the pose, you know, it looks sturdy. It's a bit, okay, look in front of the camera. That's a bit the opposite of what I was saying before. But right now, she looks intimidating. You don't want to mess with her. Okay? All the blood on the armor, the beaten up armor, you know she's been fighting for a long time. That armor has been repaired into oblivion. Look at all those straps. Almost merging with the armor in some way. That's what I want to see. You see that character, you understand what she is about immediately. It's about clarity. Same right there. It's for all the military shooter and interacting with the piece of clothes. Yeah, she is having a trophy or trinket like the ribbon from Milady or something like that. She's having the torn banner of the country or the king she's protecting, probably. For all the post-apocalyptic Last of Us military shooter fans, this is how you tell a story again. Beaten up faces, used weapons. He's wearing an engagement ring and a teddy bear. He's definitely having a kid. He looks sad, probably lost a kid or someone. The clothing being repaired with duct tape. Post-apocalyptic immediately. He's carrying a suitcase, so he's probably someone that is repairing stuff. Those little details, that's how you tell a story. And also the damage and the fact that nothing is brand new. It's been repaired, it's still functional, but it's not brand new. Same right there, that character is amazing. Again, beaten up face. Tinkering stuff and piloting drones right there. That battery looks super duper old. Same with that coat, looks super duper old. Repaired. She's wearing chains right there, so probably moving in the snow or on ice. You see you have little spikes right there. So definitely moving on ice. That project is happening in Iceland, by the way. One of the Icelandic volcanoes erupted and created a new ice age in some way. So that guy, he looks like an old veteran with that name tag right there. Old Kalashnikov weapon right there. There we go. Fishing boots right now. Yeah, dealing with what they have. He lost an eye in battle. He's a veteran. He's going to command you. He's going to be the guy giving you order and supervising the whole mission. And again, you see both the gameplay, the weapon, talkie-walkie, the gun, the welding tool, right there, personality, piloting the drone. You see both the personality and the gameplay all the time. As soon as you see the character, the what you are supposed to do with them in the game or what they will do in the movie needs to be obvious at first sight. Good. Then extra props, callouts, teddy bear, memories of family with family portraits. In the costume design, you see it's beaten up. You need to get your concepts and your pieces to echo with each other and to complement each other. You cannot tell everything with one picture, generally. That's why you need to have those extra ones. That one from Jess, oh my god, massive success from Jess. Again, you see that character. Big female character, seems to be a ranger. Okay, medium function, how does it work? You have all the layers of the clothes. She's having a weird arm right there. There's a bird right there. She's hunting with a bird. Okay. Tons of clothing right there, tons of layer, very leather heavy. There's a bow, there's an arrow, there's a dagger. She's a ranger, she's a rogue. More this kind of Witcher vibe. type of character. There is even a little box acting like a nest for the bird behind. This is super smart. Quiver with tons of patterns and such. Small, what is it specific about her now? Glowing eyes. Same with the bird. Same with that gold right there. Same with those things. She has been touched by gods. There's something magical about her. Something otherworldly. She's having talismans right there. This is some reference to Croatian mythology and all of that. Again, bird, 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 bird. She is hunting with birds. The bird is her totem animal. Tons of references to Croatian culture right there. The colors and all of that. The patterns. Tons of tattoos, tons of damage. It's definitely some kind of esoteric character, even right there. Very tribal. Guess what? The bird things. You have some skins right there, again with birds right there. Birds, birds, birds. It was an initial design decision. Look at the father of the character. Birds too. There we go. I love that design. You see that character, you immediately imagine how he will speak. This is so freaking good. And imagine a guy that would look crazy, that will sound like your average drunken Russian or Polish dad, but that is giving you so many bits of wisdom despite looking like an absolute animal. Look at how beaten up by life he has been. He's not rich. He's been dealing fishing deeds and pretty much it. Probably a bit crazy on the outside. That's how you tell the personality of someone. The face, micro expressions, all those scars, all those micro details telling about the way of life he's having. You have all the baits and the worms to fish right now. Using seagulls to fish. Pretty smart. That's what you do. I like that one. Just for the gaze of the character. Immediately you know that she's very attached to that draconic familiar. And they are kind of echoing each other with the hair and the shape right there. I really like this character for that reason, and all the accessories right there, you know she's a sorcerer or something like that. Those ones are great. Is an up. Very, very good work. One day you are discovering that video, you're doing amazing work. Right there, when you are designing characters, it's always about environment. When you are designing environment, it's always about the characters. We saw in the environment how to tell the story of the characters. And when you are designing environment, you need to tell the story of the world that is happening around them that defines who they are. And right there, it's a world where you see all the nobles, people, they have wings, they look fancy. And as soon as you get poorer, you are stripped of your wings. That's a fantastic setting, in my opinion. The rest is very obvious, so it works very well. The shapes is amazing. But that little twist is great, in my opinion. Makes sense for characters? Last but not least, I would like to talk about props. Because props, it's about the characters. It's about who owns them. It's a good junction between environment and character design, in my opinion. Look at those things. It feels opulent. To me, it reminds me of the Greek hedonistic parties with all those grapes right there. That cup of wine. It feels like the Bacchanalians, I think. That's how you say it in English. The Dionysus type of parties where everyone was getting wasted and fucking with each other. And getting drunk and vomiting and then doing it again and again. Just that pure hedonistic vibe. You have it with the grapes. That gigantic wine cup. The purple that looks very regal and opulent at the same time. Gold, again, feeling very opulent and regal. Then what I like to see is those little ornaments right there. Those little things that look like worms right there. Very triangular right there. Again, this is from Destiny. Those are the cabals for Destiny. And the cabals, they are those kind of weird creatures with this kind of triangular mouth. And the story of that faction is that they are devouring planets. With this kind of big Leviathan type of creature or spaceships like that. They are devouring planets. And it's all about gluttony in some way. Yeah, the Roman orgies, exactly. So it's about that Roman orgy type of thing. And it's also about devouring. And devouring plant goes very well with that gluttony and Roman thing. So right there, this is the mouth of the worm. You can have a look. Same shape. This is looking like the scales of the worm. Right there. And even the gun looks like the mouth of the worm. So everything is centered about that idea of devouring. Make sense? And also futuristic, of course, yeah. Very close to Dune, exactly. But it's really utilizing this kind of classical still life painting, but in another way to tell the story of those people. It's very, very well done, in my opinion. I love the painting style, by the way. It's by, I think it's by Dima Goryanov, if I recall correctly, or by Sung Choi. I think it's by Dima. Yep. Finn is also saying the dressing of the grapes is subtle note to them turning planets into wine. Exactly. Then, let's talk about weapons, okay? And I love that weapon. I've been analyzing it so much during the mentorship because to me, that's how you make a good weapon. It's about the gameplay. It's really about the gameplay. This weapon is about freezing people in place. It's a weapon in Destiny that when you shoot an enemy, when the enemy is killed, is going to freeze in place everything around. So it's a weapon about crowd control and freezing you in place and restricting the movement on the battlefield. And I really like that everything in the design of that weapon is about that. First of all, that's why I love Dima Goryanov. It's because he's showing his references. Obsidian, this is solidified lava. When something is becoming solid, moving from liquid to solid state is because the atoms stop moving. Crystal, atoms stop moving. The snake, a constrictor snake, again, is going to restrict your movement. Another constrictor snake. Medusa, going to freeze you in place. Obsidian is frozen, it's a solidified lava, etc. The clarinet, it's more just for the references. What I really like with that design, first of all, is the shape. Look at those shapes. Right there, you see an eye, a long mouth, and some teeth. A crocodile. This is literally a crocodile head. And that thing, if it clenches on you, you're not going to move anymore. So already this feels like a mouth that is about to clench on you. You have that VFX that is looking like a spider web. A spider web is going to restrict your motion. Crystal of ice, solidified lava. This thing feels like it's wrapping around you like a constrictor snake. You have the material that is made in this kind of thing looking like obsidian. So it feels like solidified lava or petrified lava again. So everything in the design of that weapon suggests to you, hey, this is about freezing and restraining motion. This is how you do it based on the gameplay. You have the gameplay, or do you make it obvious at first glance when you see that gun that this is what the gun is about? Make sense? Same with that weapon, Bastion. Love it. Because of the references, it feels like a medieval knight turned into a weapon. So you know medieval knights, they were fighting in close quarter. It's really about being in melee. This is like a melee shotgun. This is a fusion rifle, but you play it like a shotgun. You need to be extremely close to the target. And it feels that that weapon has been beaten up and it's from an ancient age. It feels like that weapon is from 1,000 years ago. It's from another age. Given how technologically advanced you can have certain weapons in Destiny, things like that, for example. This feels old from another age. And what is funny is that weapon in Destiny, where is it? Bastion. That weapon in Destiny, it was unlocked after a mission where you had to go back in time. This kind of weird machine that was allowing you to travel through time, and you had to rescue someone that was stuck in the past. You had to rescue them and save them and bring them back to the present. And they brought you that weapon. So you have this kind of idea of a time lost weapon, a museum piece, exactly. I like that one too. Again, because you feel that this weapon is heavy duty, it has been used right there. So it's really about telling the story of who is using that and what has this weapon experienced. Any object, any character, everything you do not ever do it brand new unless that's the purpose. If it's straight out of the factory, something like this, it doesn't tell anything except that it's straight out of the factory. If it's old and damaged, it's starting to tell the story of who used that and in which conditions. And again, you can get back to feeling what happened before, what is happening right now, and what is more likely to happen after. All right. That will be it. Does that make sense? Do you have any question regarding that? I will let you write the question. In the meantime, I'm going to get back to the question from Howie. Let me grab the little questions there. This way I can see what you are telling. And let me reactivate my webcam. Here we go. So, question for Howie. Can I ask what's the difference from the free course, the playbook, and the mentees playbook? So there's the free course that is, as I said, free. The promise is that you get a curriculum that is going to give you materials, course suggestion, and a structure program to go from 0 to pro level eventually. It's split across 4 stages: beginner, student / amateur, commission hell, which is almost pro but not yet, and ready for pro. And for every stage, you will be able to self-assess your level to figure out where you are in that stage. You will be given the tools and resources and links to the best educational material available online to level up. My promise is that you can get to the next stage for less than $1,000 a year, which is less than 10% of what an art school in Europe will require you. So normally it should be as good, if not better, than most crappy-ass art school for a fraction of the price. And I'm going to currently revamp the free course because I'm getting tons of discounts on the resources that I got you. And I'm going to implement that so you can even get the curriculum that I suggest for cheaper. You get it for cheaper. The content creators, they get a bit of free marketing. And sometimes for a few of them, I'm getting a little cut, but it's pretty much nothing. But in any case, everyone wins. Then, making the junction between the free course and the mentorship, we have the preparatory module. That is barely available. It's mainly available to those who apply to the mentorship and are getting refused their access because they are not ready yet. I tend to suggest that to them, but I'm going to make it available to the public pretty soon. This is to teach you how to understand the production pipeline, how to understand design, and how to start thinking more in terms of problem solving rather than just fancy picture. And once you know both of them, normally you should be eligible. Once you have the technique, and you have a bit of that awareness regarding the industry and problem solving, you should be eligible to the mentorship. I hope it answers your question. Let's get back to the questions. Piece. Can you recommend again a book about character archetype that you did some live ago? We need to make lives about that. This is called, let me show you, King, Magician, Lover. King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. That book. This is the Bible of character design. It's been written by people in the 90s that were very conservative. So it's not up to today's standard regarding gender and identity. But I know that anyone reading that book with an ounce of intellect, which is pretty much everyone watching the stream or the replay right now, can easily transpose what they say to anything to any standard regarding gender and identity today. To me, this is the Bible of character design. And try to find characters in pop culture and movies and games that are embodying those archetypes. You're going to see they always share the same traits, color palette, and all of that. It's not a hazard, and we need to make a presentation about that. We're going to make a big marathon regarding storytelling, I think, in the next weeks. For games, how to balance the storytelling of the setting the game is in, historical culture, versus giving clarity for gameplay. Normally, none of those two are incompatible with each other. The story is one thing, the gameplay is something else. So normally, if you look at the brainstorming replay webinar that I did, it should tell you exactly how to reconcile both. And you need to implement both. You need to tell yourself the gameplay, how do I make it obvious at first sight? The storytelling, how do I reward exploration and an inquisitive mind looking at the character or the environment for a long time? The yellow paint on rocks to guide player. Yeah, that's just an example for more arcadey games. For example, like Doom or Uncharted. It doesn't really matter. It's not very a problem. But generally, you can reconcile both of them very easily. So in the end, should props tell the story of the characters, or are they meant to be both about the world plus the character? Both. They are a nice middle ground between both. All of them, eventually, they make up for the world. So the character are talking about the world. The environment is also talking about the character, which are in some way talking about the world, and the prof are talking about the world and the character and the environment too. So all of them, they are linked and connected to each other. First project, depending on combining frames, to have a new unique storytelling. To what level of mixing should we meet for storytelling? You're going to see that in week 3, Ahmed. Basically, I like to pick an existing story, an existing trope, an existing historical period or something like that is grounded and recognizable, and bring one twist to the story that changes the rules. Something like French Revolution, but instead of gunpowder, we have magic. Leonardo da Vinci, but instead of making just painting an invention, he's planning a heist with his inventions and his students. What else? Elves, but instead of being the vegetarian forest lover that we know, they are living in a volcano, worshipping a phoenix and smithing weapons. Dwarves, but instead of being people living under the mountain, they live under a lake and they utilize the power of water to power all their stuff. That's what I would like to see. You pick a dragon, but instead of guarding a treasure, they guard a library. How would that look? Could you provide the list of all the examples you've shown us, please? Shit, I closed everything. That's the problem. I would say Dima Goryanov. Let me share my screen again. So Dima Goryanov, that guy. 1 pixel brush Diaboli. The IP development of OPB. There we go. Florent Leboin. It was for The Last of Us. Where is it? That new work by Florent Leboin is wonderful. Made a little short movie. This is wonderful. I love the style. This is amazing. But what I shared from him was something he did for The Last of Us. Where is it? This picture. From the student, there was Michael Zhang. Right there for Moby Dick and the crewmates. There was Gael Gardner for this. It was Chloe Andriusi for the orcs. And You're Not Ready for That Dragon is going to be mega cool. Chloe, you need to share that dragon. There was Jess. Go give her likes and comment on that project. This is after the mentorship. This is before the mentorship. I'm so proud of you, Jess. That was roughly it, if I'm not mistaken. There were probably a few more, but you're going to be able to check the replay again and see the name when our session was still open. One message got removed. I don't know why. There are bound to be topics I can't empathize because no experience being in war. What's the most efficient research method to gain understanding other than touching grass? Watch documentaries. Watch testimonies of people who have been through that. Mainly documentaries and being curious overall. That's the way I will do it. Searching for a lot of references, travel guides, museum archives, becoming a big nerd about that. You know, when you are a kid and you are obsessing about stuff, you ask why, and you want to know. That's the kind of spirit you need to have regardless of the subject. No paint, you don't always need it. The first game that comes, mine is Red Dead 2. The game rewards exploration, essentially geared towards jumping, like Assassin's Creed. Yeah, it's always, you need to make it in ways that are not removing the suspend of disbelief in some way. That will be it. More questions? It was a bit of a short session. I'm a bit busy at the moment, so I cannot afford to have like 2 hours long session at the moment. But he's going to come back. So the goal of the transition free and playbook is to get you to the mentorship. It's not the goal, but that's the way I present it. I see it like a chain. The way I see it, let me show you, is really, I really see it like a chain of problems. There we go. So the way I see it is, first of all, what about learning technique? You have the free course. The next step is learning design and production. You have the preparatory module. Coming soon to everyone. Soon. And because this chapter is also the chapter 0 of the mentorship, it's normally giving you everything you need. Once you have good enough technique, you can learn that one at any level. But once you have enough technique and at least early design and production understanding, you can apply to the mentorship. And now this is about portfolio, building, professionalism, and getting jobs. But those two, they are completely agnostic of your level. This one is coming soon to everyone. And whatever the price will be, if then you apply to the mentorship and you get a load in it and you want to join, the price that you pay right there is going to be removed from the price of the mentorship. Because it will be foolish to get you to pay twice for a product that is also part of the mentorship. Hopefully it answers your question. I see that like a chain of problem. And once you are a pro, is how do you get more jobs? It's already being handled in the mentorship. So there's no need to build a product or a course around that because it's already being given to you in the mentorship. And there's so much more in the mentorship too. Hope it answers your question. How to make artworks based on game, story, visual style, and language. Any tips to make another chapter story design? I'm not sure I fully understand your question, but it's really about what I said in that video. Go watch that video. I said I would remove it, but fuck it, due to popular demand, I'm leaving them. Video, how to craft a portfolio that gets you hired. Go watch that. There is everything you need to know to retro-engineer the work and the art direction of a project and then to apply it. So right there. And for anyone wondering what's in the mentorship, I'm literally giving you the full overview of everything we talk about in the mentorship and giving you tons of actionable steps in that video. It was supposed to be available for only a few days, but due to popular demand, everyone wanted it to leave. It's leaving there. Again, what I'm saying in the mentorship is not the knowledge. It's my time to make sure you're doing it as close as possible to the first try. How specific should story element be? How much room for interpretation can there be? Avoid a super complex story like, oh my God, he's trying to get revenge on that guy who killed this ferret 3 years ago and he unlocked the Sharingan at 7 years old. It's going to be too complex. Keep it simple. Who they are, what they want, what is it specific about them, what is the gameplay. If you can already do that, that's more than enough. When will the preparatory module be available? Probably to the public in March. Probably. Again, don't take my word for it, but probably. I need to just make clear in it and in the way I'm presenting it that it's not replacing the mentorship. It's preparing you to access the mentorship. Because I know that people, they always, everyone me included, we tend to procrastinate when it comes to joining a course or something like that. And I would not want the preparatory module to cannibalize the mentorship because they are both part of the same package. It's just to get you ready for it in some way. Or if you want to learn design in advance or something like that. So I see I have a bit of work to do on it. Next question. Maybe a dumb question, but can there be too much storytelling in the design? Rarely. Rarely. Do not try to tell too much. Keep it to the basic that I just said before. Do not try to tell the whole story of the person. It's not how it works. It needs to be the important information. Maybe a stream for another time. How do you begin a project of your own? How to come up with ideas that will look great and visually explore these? There is a video about that. It is the one about how to brainstorm. This one. You get everything in it. Next question. In that case, I think it's good. I don't see any additional question. As always, you want, if you want more, go check the YouTube videos. Feel free to follow me on LinkedIn. Feel free to join the Discord, link down below. You need to get the free course to access the Discord, by the way. Get the free course. It's free. And you have tons of discounts on tons of big assets, including a very famous one. Do we get cookies during the mentorship? I can draw some. But you are already in the mentorship, Josh, so you know the answer already. If you are potentially interested in the mentorship, here is the link in the chat. It's theartnest.academy/portfolio guide. There we go. The link is appearing somewhere on the screen, right there. Theartnest.academy portfolio guide, and link in the description down below. Feel free to apply. The next class starts in March. So there's plenty of time to digest the preparatory module if you secure your spot. And see you soon. We're going to keep going on storytelling. Feel free to suggest a subject you want on Discord, by the way. There's a suggestion channel. I'm always looking for stuff, and I'm running a bit out of idea about what would be relevant. So I'm more than open to your suggestions. And yep, talk to you soon. Bye.